I know, it's awesome.
How is it going to be?
Well, I'm glad you're here, so. All right, good day, gents, and welcome to another episode of Father's Fire. My name's Jody Sedrick, and every week we get together to... Did you see the look
Ashton.
my daughter just gave me?
I was just
All
looking
right,
at Ashton.
that was funny. You made me laugh. All right, good day, gents. You guys are making me laugh.
I'm not doing anything. Okay. I'm just smiling.
Okay. All right, here we go. Good day, gents, and welcome to another episode of Father's Fire. My name's Jody Sedrick, and every week we get together to explore the joys, the challenges, the triumphs, the sorrows, and yes, the fun of being a dad. And you may hear some background noise because our neighbors have a bounce house going and the other neighbors have a bunch of teens over. So yeah, it's a lot of fun going on in our neighborhood today. But also want to take a moment of sorrow and give a shout out to Jeff Lopez. If you don't know him, he is known as the Entrepreneur Dad. He has a phenomenal podcast as well as a book called Entrepreneur Dad. His dad died earlier this month, about 12 days ago. And so I want to give a shout out to him, a message of love, support to him and his family and to his mom as they go through that trying time, because I tell you, losing a dad, losing a mom, it hits home. It makes you really look at life, evaluate what's important. And so want to give mad love and respect to Jeff and your family, and want to thank you for the friendship that you and I have already developed. And so wish you and your family the very best. So this week I'm super excited. Want to remind you that I'm part of the Speak Fire family. And of course, Julian Gibson is from Boss Talk Nation, is always a huge supporter of Father's Fire. But this week we're going to have a round two of another of the subject that I invited my daughter Cynthia to. If you guys remember, there was an Instagram post that I stumbled across that had 7 things that a dad should teach his daughter. And so it's generated a lot of discussion in our family, and I invited my son Ashton Sedrick and my daughter Kaylani Sedrick to join me to give their perspective on what a dad should teach his daughter. At least 7 things that a dad should teach his daughter. So I'm sure Ashton has his list already lined up to go. But that's okay. So I wanted to give them and you guys some groundwork, some background. So I was in Clubhouse and listening to some conversation among some other fathers, and I was looking at the different profiles, and one of the men, I went out to his Instagram and was scrolling through his feed, and he had a post that said 7 things every dad should teach his daughter. And these are the 7 things. So I want to get you guys' feedback, your input, if you would change it, if you like it. So from a teen's perspective, as you're moving in and moving out of my house, becoming your own men and women, you get to soon make these decisions. So number 1, sharing. You need to teach your daughter to share.
Well, I think that's any kid, it's not just your daughter, you have to be able to teach all your kids that in life you have to share, and as a father, I think you need to be able to teach your daughter something.
Something?
No, I'm trying to think of how I should phrase this. I don't really know how to phrase this right now, so I'm gonna let my sister talk.
I don't know. I guess, we've always learned sharing is caring.
Sharing's
so
caring.
That's just one of the golden rules. I feel like also I feel like being a mother, you have to share literally everything with your kids. So eventually, sharing is gonna be one of the biggest aspects of your life, because all I've seen is moms sharing with their children. Moms don't get to eat, I feel like.
Moms don't get to eat. She shares her bed, her makeup, her hair, blow dryer, her Q-tips.
Yep, moms have it all. So
there's always one of the girls in our master bedroom. Yeah. In fact, a lot of times I open the door and I'm like, are the girls decent? She's like, yeah, they're okay. You can go in the bathroom. So, yeah, no. So the next one kind of bugged me. So when I first read it, so maybe I should read all 7. So the first one was sharing. Second one, cooperating. 3, listening, 4, follow directions, 5, make eye contact, 6, use manners, and 7, respect personal space. So when I first read these, honestly, I went through them and I cringed at almost every one of them because I felt like it was from a 1950s home ec class. So you got to be proper, you got to share, you got to cooperate. It's like it almost was putting the thumb screws on a woman's heart, a young girl's heart, and dampening who she could really become.
Yeah, I think cooperating. What's the other one? There's one other one that
follow directions.
Cooperating and following directions. I don't not follow that because that's stupid and that's some terrible wording. I personally think cooperating and following directions is just some form of respect, and I think respect is a better word than cooperating and following directions, because like when you respect other people and their boundaries, then like it's easier to like interact with them. But, like if I'm like only cooperating with you, then I'm just like putting up with what you're doing or whatever, you know, like respecting someone else and their boundaries and also just respecting myself and my boundaries, but like finding that middle ground. But I don't have to cooperate with everything that you want me to do, so and follow everything you want me to do. I like should have a say in like what I want and what I think is necessary for me. So.
You don't think you should share with Ashton everything?
No, I don't have to. I should have to.
What do you think about that, Ashton? What do you think about cooperating and follow directions? Is that something a girl should do? Honestly, a daughter should do?
Honestly, my sister said it all. So.
No, it's interesting because when I first started asking you about this, you're like, well, if I was a dad, I would teach them this. So what do you think is really important that a dad teaches daughter?
Well, honestly, I've seen how you've taught us, and, I've got my best friend's dad, he's very important in my life, and I see what he does for his daughter. And I just think as a father, really, you need to teach him like the aspect of life, like the most important things in life, because they go to college, and they've got a nice car or whatnot, and they don't know how to change the tires, then they got, hey, Dad, can you teach me how to do this over the phone or whatnot? So if they have the understanding.
Does that sound familiar?
So I feel like there's the understanding of that beforehand. They're taught that, you've got to change your oil or something, with the new vehicles now, it tells you when you need to change your oil, and that. Don't take it to the dealership or whatnot. Have your daughter come out, you teach them how to do it, so then when they go out to college, they have that knowledge.
Yeah, that's one thing I could have done better. But in my defense, I'm not a very mechanical guy, but I do know how to change tires. I do know how to change oil and stuff. And I remember when Kaylani bought her first car, she was home for break, right, between college. And so we didn't have a lot of time to really jump into it and like I would have. And we still need to do that just to go through some basic maintenance. And just to be able to know what to ask when you go to a mechanic shop.
Yeah, because they just tell me all the things that are wrong with my car, and I'm like, I don't believe you, but that's okay.
Well, and it's also having the confidence of not feeling like you're being taken advantage.
Yeah, well, and that's another thing that I think girls need to be taught, which also is just like just your own, like coming to yourself, but it's just like being confident in yourself and like what you can do and the way you handle things.
So you think it's really important to teach a daughter to be confident in themselves?
Yeah, or at least just like continuing to like show your daughter that she's like worth it. I think that's a lot of things that like girls struggle with today. Personally, I don't really, because I'm great. Just kidding. No, I don't struggle with it because I've known my worth like a lot, and that like is props to both my parents too. But I think it's really important to remember that like you should be respected, and that you like are important, and that you matter, and parents can like really help with that. Like just your environment can really help with that. So I think that's something that can be taught better, is like how to be confident in yourself and like why you need to be confident in yourself, because that's when people just run a train over you, is when they just don't think that you like respect yourself. Same with guys too. Like if you aren't confident in yourself, then you're just like gonna get plowed over. So it goes both ways, but really important for girls to remember that they should be confident and find their self-worth.
Yeah. So, as a girl, especially, now that you're entering college, you've got a year under your belt, you've been playing at a high collegiate level, and you've been exposed from a very early age of, you know what, I have a dream and I'm going to go get it done. Do you think that creating an environment where you could do that has created to that confidence or helped that confidence?
I think a lot of it is like finding my role like as a leader. I think that helped me, like finding my role as a leader on the court. I don't think I can't even tell you how many times I've just been like, I literally am so bad at volleyball. Like, then that's just like because you have like bad days, so it's gonna like be sucky sometimes, but like other days I'm like, wow, like I can actually do this. But I think like having a goal and like always wanting to fulfill that and like finally fulfilling that like really made me be like, okay, like I am good at this, like I can do this. Like I like those few times that I like didn't believe in myself, like I was just selling myself short, like. But I think volleyball did have like a good play into that, because I found my role like as a leader on the court, and like then that just kind of built my confidence, because I knew that I could like help others like continue to like succeed and make themselves better. So
I like that. So let's jump to the one that really cringed both of you, and that's follow directions. When you hear that, what does that make you feel on the inside? You need to follow directions as my daughter.
should I answer this? Because I've been talking this whole time.
No, go ahead.
Ashton, you need to say something.
So what do you think?
I wanted to say something about the question you asked.
Okay, sure.
I also think it's about the examples your parents set. Like with you and mom, you always strive.
That's a good word.
To be better. You always have a goal. And when us kids see you do that, it makes us have a goal. Have a want to be better. And want us to have multiple options to what we want to do in life.
Yeah. So a parent, a dad, mom, single dad, doesn't matter. They need to create. They need to be an example of what they're trying to teach you as well. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because if I tell you not to smoke and I'm smoking, you're probably not going to agree with me, right?
Yeah.
So what do you think about, following directions? Is that something I should teach you, or when you hear it? So when I first read it, girls need to follow directions, I felt like it was just, no matter what, you have to do what I say. It made you subservient. It's like,
that's like the connotation of it. That's what I was saying with like cooperating and following directions. Like it just terrible word choice.
Terrible word choice.
Yeah.
Why do you think that? Why?
Well, I kind of said it before, like cooperating, and like when I think of cooperating, I think like I have to do everything that like I'm told, and I can't like change that or speak up for myself.
Yeah.
Following directions, I think I have to do everything you direct me to do. Like, and if I sway from that, then I get in trouble.
Because it kind of reminded me too of like, stereotype about like how women are supposed to be the one cooking,
Right.
And to me, I just don't think that's right. As a family, we all have that responsibility. It's not just one person in the house that's supposed to. And kind of like that, everybody needs to follow directions. It's not just one person. So it just didn't seem right,
Well, and
it's just not a good word choice. I think it's like, I feel like probably the idea was like trying to get across like from his post, maybe like, I don't really know what you like do as you're told. Like, I'm not going to do that if I don't want to. I don't know. I probably sound like an angsty little teenager, but
not at all. What you sound like is a very independent, confident young woman that's like, look, I have value. I have a perspective. And I want you to, yes, I want to give you respect, but I also want to be respected.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And I think that's kind of when I read these, I didn't feel like they gave a young lady room to really shine, to really show her personality, to share her insight, her experience, her perspective. And so, as I read those, I kind of had the same feelings. I'm like, man, you're just squashing her spirit instead of creating an environment where she can blossom in the gifts that you can't see, that are kind of hidden under the surface. If you create an environment where she can explore them and discover them, they will exponentially grow far beyond what you ever dreamed of as a dad.
Yeah.
So what do you think about making eye contact?
That sounds dumb.
I don't
Sometimes
think
when I
that-
talk to
mean,
someone, I
think
don't
that-
even make eye contact.
I think that's like a normal, like, I mean, I don't think anyone in conversation ever like stares at you the whole time. And when they do, it's like just weird. There's just like an awkward, like, please just like break eye contact for like a split second.
Yeah.
I think eye contact when you're, I don't really know why that needs, like, I feel like that kind of goes with like being confident, just like knowing like where you're at and don't let people like step on you.
Well, and I think, as I think about making eye contact, one of the things that I tried to teach you guys when you're meeting someone is to, go up with confidence, shake their hand, look them in the eye and say, hey, my name's Kaylani or my name's Ashton. And, you don't have to keep looking deep into their eyes, right? But showing that respect.
Yeah.
And just, like if you're going into a job interview and you're constantly looking at your shoes and shuffling
then you
your
just
feet,
look nervous and not confident in yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. So definitely. All right. So we're going to nix some make eye contact, except for special circumstances. All right. Use manners.
I mean, that's a universal thing. I think some of these things, like, well, no, duh. Like, why would I not be taught that? I mean, and
why
I guess,
wouldn't you teach your son
And I know
that?
some people, like, maybe they don't know manners and aren't good at that. I mean, sometimes I'm not great at it, but whatever. But like, I think just being polite. I don't think use manners. Just like be nice.
Be nice. Be polite. Okay, I like that. Okay, the last one that he put on there: respect personal space.
I keep talking. You
get out of my
a
bubble.
Bit.
You're too close to me, man.
I just don't think a lot of those are relevant.
I just don't think they're like.
Okay, that's good. I like that they're not relevant, and I'm glad you said that. So, looking at this list and feeling like they're not really relevant, and in particular, they're not relevant to only a daughter, right? They're not only relevant to a son. They overlap in some principles. But if you're looking at it and you're creating a list of what you would teach your daughter, what do you think are the absolutely critical things that you, as an upcoming soon-to-be dad, well, not soon-to-be, but
please
someday,
Oh my gosh,
someday be a dad. What do you think's really, really important to teach your daughter?
I'd say respect, confident. Man, you're like throwing me on the bus right now.
Respect, confidence. Okay, I like those.
Oh man.
Okay, and let's talk about respect because I think respect has a couple aspects. It has respect for others, respect for your parents, respect for peers, but also has respect for yourself. And I think a lot of times when we say you need to have respect, we miss that you need to have respect for yourself.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's a lot of like when kids are disrespectful, like there's something else like going on where they don't think they like can be respected. So then they like disrespect everyone else because they don't feel like they can be respected.
Well, that's a good point.
I think, that kind of makes sense.
Because no, I like that because I think a lot of kids act out of spite or act out of anger or act out of emotion because they don't feel like they're being heard.
Yeah, exactly. So they don't have they're not receiving the same respect that they like want. They are reciprocating too.
Right.
Because of, other things. But
so any others on your list?
Well, I mean, not like
I should have brought a
basic
list,
like
but-
mechanical things that I like. Just feel like
Things
I
that
should
you would like to
as,
know,
like,
right? That I failed. I'll admit it. I failed.
No.
I didn't teach you how to do
a
it.
lot of them I know like a general idea, but I think that's just like a non like emotional or like
Yeah.
personal.
So
like,
some of the
aspect.
things that, when I looked at his list, I'm like, all right, what are some things that I as a dad think are important? And you tell me if they're important or not. Okay. So number one, and we've already talked about being respectful and kind. I mean, everybody, whether you're my daughter or whether you're my son, you need to be respectful and kind. One of the things that I especially see among girls is there's, especially when they get about 11 to 17, there's a lot of cattiness that goes on. And so it's really easy to tear down the unpopular girl. So lifting up those around you, even the unloved, the unseen, the unpopular,
Yeah.
would you think that's good or bad?
No, I think that's important to like. I mean, just because you're like the popular kid, like doesn't mean that like. Honestly, like popular is just like everyone's perception of where you're at. I think that whole thing, because I got called one of the popular kids, and I was like, no, that's weird. But like, I
Well,
don't
that's
know.
a
People,
level-
I think when people think you're like popular, like I think just like a lot of people respect you and like look up to you. So like, I feel like as someone that people like look up to, you should be like an example and like be kind to everyone else that like, that looks, if people look up to you, like why wouldn't you be nice to them? Because they just like want to like be like you.
And there's some humility in that statement
And I
of
think-
going, what do you mean?
I also
I'm
think
not
going
popular.
to a small school really helps, 'cause
How so?
I feel like it's overwhelming with a big crowd, because you're trying to fit in. When you go to a small school, you pretty much fit in with anyone.
You
know?
have
You
to.
have to.
right?
Yeah.
You're in the same class as literally everyone.
So, and I feel like with the popularity and stuff, like I did get called that in high school, and with that, I had love for myself and I had love for others,
Yeah.
and I feel like that's a big thing in life, because if you feel good about yourself, there's no reason why to not feel good about somebody else.
Oh.
Always
It's
have
easy to like
somebody's-
reciprocate your
exactly,
self-love.
and
Yeah.
have someone's back.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's something we should definitely teach our daughters.
Yeah. No, it's good. So the other thing he had on there was listen, but I think listening encompasses so many things. So I put down, we need to listen to understand, and we need to listen to empathize, and listen to connect. So really trying to break it down into, because I think especially dad, and I think dads need to learn this probably more than their daughters or their kids, is to listen to you guys and your perspective.
I feel like, not throwing you in the under the bus, but like you're a
I'm
very
waiting. I'm waiting.
opinionated man.
I was waiting. I
But-
opened the belly and I said, skewer me. Do I listen? Well, Dad.
But also, you have to remember that, like, being an opinionated man, you're gonna raise opinionated kids. So,
So get ready.
so
for
we kind of all just like, no, Dad, no. But like, in reality, I think all of us, like, over time, have like tried. We're not very good at it, especially when we play like games or whatever.
Oh
Like,
yeah, it's very
it's
competitive when we
very-
play games.
but like, in other circumstances, like, we just like have tried to like be a little bit more of like a listening ear.
So you're saying reap what I sow. what
That's what
what
happens.
I grew is what I got. So yeah, it's
exactly.
good. All right, the fourth one I put down was stand for what you believe, and that your voice needs to be heard.
You gotta start talking a little bit
think
more.
that's a big one, just with listening, because not trying to throw you under the bus again. Sometimes when I had something to say, we would always butt heads. I was like, you're not like listening to what I'm saying. It would drive me crazy. To where like yell at each other or whatever.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And it goes both ways, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm sitting there going, "You're not listening to me,"
Exactly,
right?
yeah.
And it's
A Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. And having the discipline as a dad to step back and go, all right, I need to just shut my yap,
Yeah.
right? And let the kid get out of their head what's in their heart. Because what I found is that on those rare occasions that I actually do that, you would talk through it and you would get to where I was trying to get you to.
Yeah.
But I was in a rush to solve the problem instead of letting you work through it yourself. So listening to truly understand.
Yeah. I think because were we on the stand for what you believe? Because you took it back.
Yeah, no. Well, he jumped back to you. Yeah, he jumped back to you.
I'm looking at this stand for what you believe in, and like lead, and your insight is valuable. I think that's something. I think that is really important for girls. Obviously, like guys too, but like for girls especially, like they don't get heard as much as they want to or should need to, you know.
Yeah.
And so, like being steadfast in like what you believe in, like what you think is like correct, you know, like maybe like obviously people are going to disagree with you, but like you still like you don't let you don't let your people like sway you. Like if you believe in what you believe, like that's what you believe. Like no one else needs to tell you like you have to believe differently.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and I think kind of going back to listening, kind of standing up for what you believe, but also having the respect to listen to other people's perspective, because there may be something that you've never considered, right? And so being able to have the confidence to say, yeah, you know what, this is what I believe, and this is what I'm going to do, and this is where I'm driving to, but also recognizing that there might be opportunities that you haven't explored.
Understood. Yeah.
So I did keep make eye contact on there, but I kept it just from the perspective of I want you to have the confidence, and it's really should be teach you to be confident, where you can look somebody in the eye, you can shake their hand, you can have a conversation with anybody, whether it's a teacher, a peer, a governor, or president. I want you to be able to, in any environment, recognize that you have value.
Yeah. Something that like I've always prided myself in when I was growing up was when like the guys at church or whatever would be like, your handshake's really strong, which is like so little, but I'm like, yeah, it is. So like don't mess with me as a freaking 8-year-old. I don't even know why. But so yeah, I guess just like being confident and like knowing that like you like are here and that you have a place. So
yeah. The sixth one that I put was be the change that you'd like to see.
Wait.
I just feel like
she just keeps looking at me like
I just
you're
like
doing
I
great.
keep talking.
So you guys see what I get to deal with every day. These two, when they're together, man, it is constant like this. But I put this because I think a lot of times we see the world and we want it to change. And everybody's pointing fingers at everybody else. Oh, they need to change. The system needs to change. You know, she needs to change. He needs to change. But it's never, I need to change. And so I put that because I think a lot of times we, in our intent of trying to be the change, can inspire and lead people to the change that we'd like to see. And we can really have an impact if we're willing to take up that banner and wave it.
Well, yeah, it's just like when I was saying, like, if you love yourself and, you know, you're out there taking care of others, you know, and people see that, you know, then they're going to do the same thing.
Yeah.
And so
it's like a little ripple effect, I guess.
Yeah.
But, like, I mean, it, like, change doesn't happen unless you, like, decide to make that change, too. So, like, sometimes, like, people will tell you like, no, you need to do it this way. But in reality, like no one's going to do it that way unless they decide to do it that way. Like no one can actually really tell you what to do. You know, like you have to make that decision to like make that change and be like better.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if that makes sense,
it makes a lot of sense. The final one that I wanted to share with you and get your feedback is love yourself. I mean, love your body, love your gifts, really as a girl. And I see this more on the girls' side of our family is you guys have a tendency to downplay who you truly are. You look at your body and go, oh gosh, my eyes are ugly, or my hips are fat, or instead of going, wow, man, I'm amazing. I mean, when's the last time you actually looked in the mirror and go, oh, you know what? I'm all right. Prom. 2 weeks ago.
Wow.
You were looking pretty hot.
I know something I always did with them. When
I saw your boy's face drop when you walked out. Oh.
I know something I did younger, and I still do, you know, and they always make fun of me for is whenever the girls would be in their rooms, you know, I'd walk in, they'd have a mirror or whatnot, you know, and I'd have my shirt off, and I'd just be looking at myself all the time, you know, and you know, flexing or whatnot. And I'm not gonna say like I was like that all the time. Like it took me a while, you know, to realize, hey, I love myself. I look great. You know, people can say whatever they want, but I've already made a decision. Like, dude, you look awesome. You know? You're gonna be awesome or whatnot. So I think, you know, we start teaching them at a young age, you know, to love themselves and be able to look at themselves and be like, wow, you know, I look good. You know, then nobody can tear them down. You know, because they already love themselves that much that no matter what you say, you're not gonna change tomorrow, you know. And I think parents, you know, brothers, anybody needs to, like you always said, lift each other up, you know. Don't tear each other down, because I feel like if family's gonna tear somebody down, then they're not gonna look at themselves that way. You know, they're like, oh, this is what my family says, then this is who I am, you know. And I think when you've taught us that, you know, then with me, I don't know about you, but that's why I always, you know, every day I'm like, nobody can change me, you know, and say that I don't look good. You know, my hair may be messy, shake it up a little bit. Yep, I look good.
I think with like loving yourself and like your appearance, people probably think like I've had that confidence for a while because I like make it seem like that, but it really only started when I like fully believed it was actually when I like started dating my current boyfriend, and he was always like, you're so beautiful, and I'd just be like, no, like you're lying, but he'd be like, no, just say thank you, like, because you are. And so after like I just started, like I would say thank you, like just kind of like thanks, like I didn't really believe it, but then I was like, no, like he wouldn't tell me that I'm pretty if I like wasn't, you know. And so I like started to like be like, yeah, thank you, like I feel like good about myself today. And it was like even on like days when I felt like looked kind of bummy, I was like, I look really good in sweats, that's awesome. Like I don't know, like, and a lot of it, like I've also just started to like, I really like going to the gym, and so I noticed like a change, like on the days that I don't go to the gym, I just feel like ugh and like gross, and like I don't like feel like I like took care of myself. But then like when I go to the gym, I'm like, oh, like personally I stare at myself in the mirror a lot, which is really bad. If you catch me at the gym, like I'm probably looking at myself, which is not in a conceited way. I'm just like looking, and it's like hard not to like look.
I don't think that's bad,
but like I just, people like tell me like, oh, you have like such a nice body, like you're so like fit, you're so athletic. But I'm like, I like, that's just the way I like was made. And like, cool, thanks Jesus. Thanks God.
Well,
like,
I like that you said the way that you're made, because you have had a very fit life, right? It's more than, I mean, yes, it is definitely a gift from God to have, you know, be blessed with an amazing body that you can move and do things. But it's also you and we as a family are a very fit family. And that really does impact how you feel about it. And it kind of, in that love yourself, and actually the full description, I want you to love yourself not only because you are of worth, but you are strong, you're independent, you have gifts, right? And I want you to see those in yourself.
Yeah.
I want you, and you are, and so Essentia, you guys have confidence in yourself. You know that you're strong,
Mhm.
right? You're not just some weak woman. You're
Yeah.
a powerful, strong, independent woman that's bringing gifts and vision and passion and love for the world. And if you can love yourself and tap into those gifts, what kind of impact can you have on your future family and just your friends now?
Yeah, I think going along with like being like independent and just like strong with yourself and like physically healthy and like mentally healthy, like a lot of like you're obviously like loving yourself is like mental, like you just really have to believe that you love yourself. But also like I gotta give props to like having brothers, like, and I know like not every girl is like gonna have 4 of them, but I mean, I was the baby and I had to like stand up for myself and like make sure I didn't get freaking beat up because I was not going to let these boys beat me up. So that also like helped me be like, no, I'm like kind of the shiz, you know, like I can beat up my old brother. Like that's so cool of me. And so I think that like did like having parents that like encouraged me to like stand up for myself, like against my brothers and not let them like beat on me because I can beat on them too, you know, like starting that at like a young age and then just like building that confidence in myself and knowing that like, yeah, I can do a lot.
Yeah, and you got a lot of strength. Don't test me. And she's got a lot of strength of her mom.
Yeah, my mom.
I'm
I
telling
find myself a lot more like my mom than I think.
And that's good, right? So, but anyway, yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed this conversation. I love that you guys have the confidence, and it did take a little bit of twisting arms to get them on the show with me, but I wanted to get a different perspective. Cynthia gave just an amazing perspective, and I love that. And I thought it would be good for you dads to hear a different perspective because, you know, ultimately our ultimate responsibility as dads is to love our kids. Notice I didn't say raise our kids. I mean, that's a byproduct of loving them. And when you love consistently, you're engaged with them, you're involved with them, no matter what they're doing in their life. When you become their biggest fan, they feel it. They develop that self-confidence. They develop that self-love. They develop self-respect and ultimately end up loving and respecting other people in the process. So, guys, I would love to hear the ones that you would add to the list or take away the list. So please send me an email, put in DMs what you would do, share, like, and subscribe to this post. And thank you guys for joining me. And we will check. Oh, I got to give you guys mad props. Thank you guys for joining me. And we will check you same time, same bad channel just next week. See ya. See ya. She beat me to it. That's why I love that girl.